Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Infatuasian podcast. A special show for you today, our 5th anniversary. Who would have guessed that 5 years later we'd still be doing this? First episode was dropped, I think, on June 15th, 2021, kind of at the tail end of the pandemic, but we've been going pretty much probably about 40-something episodes a year, which I'm pretty impressed with, to be honest. You know, there's not a lot of podcasts that do that many shows by themselves, literally in my basement. We have a crew of one. So I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm trying to pat myself on the back. But we have a really great show for you today. We wanted to have someone special, and so thanks to my friend Dave, as well as just the willingness of Chef Yan to come on the podcast, we have Chef Martin Yan. Funny story, so I reached out to him through his little portal on his website where you can just leave a message and say, hey, would you like to come on the podcast? And I didn't hear from him for a couple weeks, but then a couple weeks later, I got an email from him, and it was basically like, sorry, I've been out of town. Here's my cell phone number. Give me a call. Chef Martin Yan just dropped me his cell phone number and told me to call him up, and we'd set this up. And he was so gracious with his time. And not only did he just come on to chat, he set up his studio. I guess it's his studio, kitchen studio. And he had his chef whites on. I'll put some videos up because he's so great. But he had his cleaver out, and he had vegetables, and he gave us a little demonstration. But I think this show is special to me because I think we've all seen him cut things with knives before and cook for us before on TV. But I think what you're going to get through this episode is you're going to get to know him a lot better than you might know him. I think most of us have seen him on TV, but we haven't heard his story. So I'm really happy to be able to bring that to you today. And we talked the early days at UC Davis, which, as you know, I graduated from there as well. So it's very exciting for me to talk to a fellow Cal Aggie. But we get into so much more than that, too. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you for sticking with us for 5 years. For those of you who've listened to us on and off for 5 years, thank you so much for listening. We'll do another special 5th year anniversary episode later this week, if I get to it. But until then, I hope you enjoy this episode with Chef Martin Yan, and we'll get to it right after this. Today we are joined by a true pioneer, an icon, a one-of-a-kind personality, someone I've looked up to for over 40 years. It is a chef, TV host, author, 3 times James Beard Award winner, cultural ambassador. It's the one and only Chef Martin Yan.
Hello, everybody. I always if Yan can, so can you. That means every one of you, when you make up your mind, when you work hard and believing in yourself, you can achieve whatever you want.
Amazing. Yeah, let's get into your story a little bit. I didn't know, you surprised me. I didn't know you're going to be in the kitchen with tools ready to go, so I'm super excited. We might even get a demo today, maybe.
I want to show everybody how important it is to have the right tool for the right job.
Amazing. Let's see, before we do that, can we talk about your roots a little bit?
Well, first of all, I was born and I grew up in Guangzhou, China. And during that time, which is about 60-some years ago, and that was the most challenging, most difficult, most deprived time for the citizens. Because the Chinese are fighting the Russian. They're arguing, they have conflict, so they pull out all the experts and all the engineers and all the advisors. And then they demand China to pay up all the loans and all the things. So it's just like other country. After the war, you have to pay retribution. That's very, very tough.
Yeah.
So everything is rationed. So when we're growing up, we went to bed hungry every night because each month we only have 4 ounces of oil, 2 pounds of meat for a whole month per person. And then annually, 12 months, you only have two yards of fabric. So that's why in the old days you see the amount that all the clothes in the 70s, everything is patches all over.
Yeah.
Now you can buy a Levi's patch up jeans for $250 US. But in the old days, literally they have to patch it up. And
Yeah.
so I grew up in a time that I'm malnutrition and undernourished, and we all have problems. Never have enough to eat,
Yeah.
and everything is in school. They cook big batches of food, and then the student just have to share, and then we
Yeah.
never have enough protein.
Uh,
So even in a very early age, I'm determined. If I ever had the opportunity, I'll be close to food. I have to work with food, and so I can be close, so close to food that I'll never go hungry again.
I saw a picture of you. I think you were maybe like 9 or 10 years old, cooking at a wok. Where did you learn how to cook? Who was the one who taught you?
Well, actually, during that time, because my father, before I was born, they have a little restaurant and a grocery store. That means they qualify us as a capitalist, and all the capitalists they have to re-educate it. So my mom, by then my father passed away already. My father passed away when I was 5. My mother never went to school and never learned how to write. Can read a little bit, but he cannot write. She cannot write. So sometimes she won't be home because those propaganda machine the meeting. She won't be back until sometime 6:30, 7 o'clock. So I get out of school, and she would use take me to on the weekend. She would take me to the wet market. So I would go to the wet market after school and go shopping, and I purposely go there about 5 or 6 o'clock to pick up all the leftover stuff, which is half price.
Uh-huh.
So I learned how to actually in a tender age of about 8 to 10. I already learned how to shop, how to look at fresh stuff, and I help my mom in the patio. We have a little cast iron wok with a little mesquite burner.
Yeah.
Also sometimes wood burners. There's no gas, no electric. So I learned how to prepare some of the stuff for her. So when she come home, she can cook. And and then when I get a little bit older, I start helping her to cook. So I am actually start walking when I was young.
And then you got formal training in Hong Kong. You went to culinary in Hong Kong.
Yeah, what happened is when I was in Hong Kong, I don't have direct relatives in Hong Kong, but my father's village buddy has a restaurant, so I actually live with them. And after the restaurant closed, we used to just sleep in the restaurant. And then, and because I was in the restaurant, I never go hungry. I always have enough to eat. And I learned to practice my breaking down a chicken, help out in the kitchen. So this is how I acquire my skill. Not necessarily in those days. Not necessarily. I was passionate. It's just that it's a necessity. It's a means of survival,
Uh-huh.
because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get some pocket money, and they had to pay for my tuition fee too. So I had to work. So after school on weekend in the summer, I would work. And then I was told, but I really wanted to have the opportunity when I graduated from high school and go overseas. In the old days, most of them come to go to Canada or England or the US.
Yeah.
And my father actually was a overseas Chinese, had a little jewelry shop and a little barber shop in Portland, Oregon, before he returned to China
Oh,
to open the restaurant and a grocery store for my mother.
okay.
So he's always mentioned when I was a little kid, she always mention about his experience in Portland, Oregon. So my mom said, "Wait, maybe one day, if you get a chance, maybe we'll go to America." So when I was 13, I literally during that time it was so this famine, drought and
Yeah.
famine in China. A lot of people couldn't make it. So my mother decided that's time for you to go. So when I was about 13, my mother sent me to Hong Kong to be with my father's village buddy, and he promised to take care of me as long as I am willing to work and help him out.
Yeah.
So I left when Hong Kong. But when I was in Hong Kong, going to high school and also help out in the restaurant. And somebody told me if you want to go to the U.S., a lot of the foreign student, a lot of students have to pay a lot more money, 2 or 3 times as much
Mm.
being an out of state non-resident.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know how to cook, you can always get a job in a
Yeah.
restaurant, or at least we work in the weekend.
Yeah.
So I spent about 9 months going to a local cooking school. Actually, in those days, the cooking school is not like the cooking school nowadays with a lot of instructor. He just show you how to basically do all the basics, the barbecue, dim sum, and also how to use one of these. Um, and then but I don't have any money to pay because I think it costs about $300 Hong Kong per session, and I don't have that kind of money.
Uh-huh.
$300 a lot of money those days. But
Mm-hmm.
I make a deal with them and I say, "Hey, look, I don't have any money, but I love to learn. How about we would do bartering? I help you to go to the market and shop and prep for you, and then after class, I'll clean up. You don't have to. I don't have to pay. So this is how I do bartering. So I think that's survival instinct. I always tell people when you face a problem, you have to find a solution.
Hmm.
So I acquired a skill. So when I came over here, I can get a job in any restaurant.
That's true. That's true. And so first stop was Canada.
The reason why I went to Canada is because those days when I go to Canada, I don't have to pay.
Okay. Okay.
And then what happened is the reason why I chose Canada because I don't have to pay. Then I went to Edmonton. And Edmonton, when I went there that particular year, I think in the early 70, 69 or 70, that particular a month when I landed, it would start getting cold. So winter, about November, December, it's minus 40 degrees. And it's just brutal and I can't take it. So after a few months, and around Christmas time, I came down to California to visit an old buddy of mine, his brother. I went to UC Davis. And first of all, I saw a lot of bikes, like in China, a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love the bike. And then secondly, it's not as cold. And then I just told my roommate in Canada, I said, I'm not coming back. Uh, I'm not coming back. I will stay here.
Yeah.
So I end up going to attending UC Davis. So
Yeah.
my undergrad and graduate school, I spent most of my year in UC Davis in
Yeah.
Davis.
I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, I made the right choice. Not because I learned how to make. I'm smart enough to make the right choice. It's just that the brutal minus 40 degree is not for human living or survival. As soon as you get out, when you breathe, and then you have ice on your eyebrow, and then your ear have no sense of no sensation at all. It's so cold.
I love that you went to Davis because I also went to Davis a little bit after you, and I didn't know how much UC Davis played into your story. Like for audience out there, they may not know it's one of the UC schools, but not the most famous one. So one of our most famous alum is Martin Yan, Chef Martin Yan, graduated from UC Davis. So yeah, that was a really important stop for you.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, when I first landed, I think what happened is that there are quite a few foreign students there already from Hong Kong, from Taiwan, from China, but mostly from Hong Kong and Singapore, Malaysia, and Taiwan. Very few from China
Mm,
because they don't allow too many people to
yeah,
get out of China during that time. I left China when I was 13, so it's easier. But when
yeah.
you're over 16, then you become a very productive member of the community. It's
Mm,
very hard to get out of China that time. So basically, when I was in Davis, I was very fortunate because they have one of the you probably know that they have a very very famous Robert Mondavi Center. The food and wine event is the food and wine education department is one of the best at the top in the world.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Particularly the viticulture and enology and food science. I remember on Cruise Hall those days they have 33 food professor in the food science
Oh,
department.
oh wow, wow.
So then I don't have any money, so I actually work in the lab and help them out. And they have a production lab to make orange juice, to do all kind of production like
Uh-huh.
experimental lab. And also we take classes not only from food science but also winemaking and fermentation.
Yeah.
So it kind of helped me, give me another skill and other knowledge and other platform later on when I start doing the Yankee Cook Show. And I talk about, cooking is not only an art, but also science. So
Yeah.
that's another tool that I acquired. Not only I can pick up a knife and break down a chicken in 18 seconds, but I also have an additional tool, which is basically allow me to be a chef with a better understanding of food.
Yeah. And I think also to make ends meet, you convince the UC Davis extension to let you teach Chinese cooking classes.
Yeah, because those days you probably know that because you're too young. When I was there, 50 years ago, basically the hourly rate is about 50 cents to 55 cents. So if I work, it doesn't matter how many hours I work, I'll never be able to make enough to pay for tuition, and then room and board, and then living expenses. So I talked to I heard that somebody in Los Angeles, Madame Wu teach cooking class at UCLA. And I called him. I said, "Hey, can I come down and get some advice from you?" So I took a Greyhound bus. I don't have a car. Took a Grand bus and go out there and go and visit her. And she told me, "Well, all you have to do is to tell the go to the director of the extension and tell him that you would love to teach and you have not only you love to teach, but you have some basic skills." So I came back out and I talked to I make an appointment with the director. And he asked me, the first meeting asked me, "Do you have a teaching certificate? Are you executive chef in a restaurant for over 5 years?" And I said, "No, none of them." And have you ever been in an executive position in the restaurant? I said, "No." And I said, "But I really want to. I love food. I love people. I love to share my passion." So I keep on bugging him for 5 days, and it gets so frustrated. It's okay, because I go to see him every day for 5 days and drive him crazy. Later on, I met him. He said, "Oh, Martin, you drive me nuts those days." And and then and what happened is he said, "Okay, since you push the one of the statement that I made is I said, look, I know that I'm not necessarily very qualified, but I know I can do a better job. I can do a good job. And also, without these financial support, I won't be able to stay at Davis. Do me a favor, give me a chance. And I really want to stay at Davis." I think that particular statement move him a little bit and give me a chance. Says, "Okay, I'll put a small ad in the local newspaper, exactly 3 square inch. If you can get a minimum of 15 people, I'll give you a chance. If you don't ever come back to see me. I don't want to see you." I said, "Okay." So I went to the restaurant. I work in a local restaurant. There's only one restaurant. Day was those days,
Yeah.
right next to the campus in a shopping mall. And I told the client and the customer, said, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to do a cooking class. Please sign up. I need your help." So within about 3 weeks, about 43 people sign up. They're all my customers. And I think this is the PR. You got to understand how to do marketing and PR these days.
Yeah.
So then I said, "Well, too many people. I can't teach so many people. Hands up." So divided into 3 classes. So since then, I have beginning class. I start with beginning class. So it'll be about 20 or 30 people. And then I have intermediate class. After that, I have advanced class. And then after that, I take them to Chinatown on the conclusion, on the Chinatown dim sum and Peking duck dinner too. So this is how I make enough money through my undergrad and graduate school to make enough money to finish my education at UC Davis as a foreign student,
I love it.
paying a lot more than local residents.
Yeah, I love that story. And I heard that this is also the time when you met your wife, but all of her roommates took your cooking class except for her. She was the only one who
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah. It's funny. A lot of the roommate, because not only I teach the extension, I also teach the student union. which I don't charge. I don't get paid, but I just want to use food to make connection to integrate myself and practice my English. In the first few years when I got my English is broken English and it's not very good. So some of my roommates from Taiwan that work in the lab, they never have to practice, but I have to practice. So I take the time to practice, and then I teach. I volunteer to teach at the student union to show people. You can do a dom and you can cook in a little toaster oven. You can do it in a rice cooker. You can cook all kinds of stuff in the dom. So and most of her roommate took my cooking class. And then the reason why I always visit their apartment is because these girls not only take my free cooking class, they help me out when I do a little catering for birthday party or something for the local community, and also quite a few of my professor and their spouse when they have birthday or anniversary, they will ask me to cook for them because they were my student.
I love it. Yeah.
So that's how I encourage. But she was the only one that never took my cooking class. So I was a little bit curious. I'm not upset. I was curious. Why everybody, all your roommate, took my cooking class and didn't?
That's a great story. And the family roots go deep. I think even one of your sons went to Davis.
Yeah. My one of my son went to Davis. When we look for after they got out of high school, we took them around to all the campuses. We took them to UC's, Santa Cruz, UC Santa Barbara, UCLA, UC San Diego, USC, and some Cal State. And one of the boys loved Irvine, and then another boy loved Davis because he already have a lot of friends already get accepted Davis.
Yeah.
So end up one went to Irvine, one stayed at Davis. So all of us, except one of the boys, we all are Aggie.
Go Ags. And you could see you donated like 3,000 of your cookbooks.
Well, over 3,000. It's more than 3,000, close to 4,000, because the 3,000 was the last batch all together. But before that, I have donated close to about $700 to $800 for them already. I will show you when after I finish my last two cookbooks, I decided I don't need a whole lot of reference books, so I donate the last batch at one time is about 3,200.
Wow.
Then plus the 700 is close to 4,000. I still have close to about 800.
Wow. Yeah. So people up at Davis, you can go see the collection, the Martin and Susan Yan collection over at Davis. Is it just open to the public I mean, not the public, but if you are a student there, you can look in the library and find them?
Well, the library they designate as Chef Martinez Legacy Archive.
Hmm.
They basically digitize a lot of things. I
Oh.
donated a lot of my shows, my
Huh.
culinary video, memorabilia, and all my interviews, and almost a three-quarter million food photos. So they can, in the future, we want the whole idea is we want to build one of the largest Asian culinary archive in the country. Julie Chow donate hers in UC Santa Barbara. Because her last few years she lived in Santa Barbara,
Mm,
and then my good friend Jacques Pepin donated to Boston University
okay.
and Johnson and Wales.
Yeah.
And incidentally, I'm also along with Julie Chow, we received the honorary doctorate degree in culinary arts from Johnson and Wales.
Yeah.
So we, throughout the year, have the great opportunity to work with a lot of people. Actually, you mentioned you have one of your guests is Amy Tan.
Mhm.
Recently, I had a fundraising and then somebody auctioned off an item and I cooked and Amy Tan was one of the guests.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunity to meet a lot of people,
Yeah.
and keep in touch and interact with a lot of people. We know Ming Sai, we know a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Brendan Chu.
Sure.
Brendan Chu is another person that you might want to talk to.
Yeah, we had him on. We had Mr. Jew on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so jumping into TV, what seemed almost like another little accident in a way. You were visiting helping a friend's restaurant up in Canada. So back to Canada for
Yeah,
a minute.
yeah, definitely. Because what happened is, why I was in the beginning of my graduate school at Davis, and in the summer, before I even get out of summer school, a friend of mine, a high school friend, and he said that he tried to open a restaurant. So if he open a restaurant, then he can apply his family to come from Hong Kong. And but he's accountant. His major is accountant, and he knows that I've been teaching cooking class. And then when I was in high school, I always cook. So he said, wait, why don't you come up here and help me to open a restaurant? Then I said, if I do that, you got to help me out. So you put me as the title as executive chef, and also I'm the partner. I'm a restaurant partner.
Okay.
So this way, I can also apply my mother, bring my mother and my younger brother out of China,
Oh, okay.
and then I went over there and I helped him to do it. And then I show him how to set up the kitchen, how to train it, some of the local people to help the chef. And then I also occasionally cook in the restaurant. And the interesting thing is, this restaurant is not too far away from the local television station. And so some of the producer, director, and the manager, sometimes they come over the restaurant to eat. And I always joke with them. And I said, don't look at these chop suey chow mein menu. And let me know how much you want to spend for lunch. I'll cook for you. Personal chef. Then we became good friends. And they always like the food because I do something unique and different, not on the menu.
Yeah.
So we became friends. And but they do actually have what happened is this is incidental. Happened in the right place and the right time because they actually have a talk show, a daily talk show, 5 days a week, and every Friday they have a chef from Intercontinental to come and do a dish, a 15 minutes a dish, and one of the Thursday they frantically call. That is a week before I go back. I come back down here to Davis to go back to school. Said, well, Chef Yan, you got to come because our chef got sick and you got to come. I said, you better get somebody else because I have never faced a camera before. I have no idea about television, and I don't want to ruin the reputation because you have an executive chef and you're experienced and you're confident. And since I've never faced a camera before, and it would be embarrassing. If I embarrass you, it'd be bad for the station. No, we love your food. You just do whatever you want. So I went over there, and then what happened is that day is also very cold. It's not 40 degrees, but about 35 degrees below zero. And then when I put my stuff over there, everything, by the time we get there, everything is semi-frozen. So I can't cut the meat. Those days, there's no microwave, and I cannot defrost it. And then I just joke around and say, look, in school, I'm going to graduate school in California. In school, I love frozen food. Today, I'm going to show you how to do frozen food. So I just chop up the vegetable, chop up the celery, the bell pepper, and the carrot, and just put them all together and put some black bean sauce. I said, this is my version of frozen food. And because I was fooling around so much and they thought it was funny. So then the director said, gee, this guy is crazy. So only asked me to come back a couple of days later before I leave I left for California. And they gave me half an hour. They said, well, go for it. And then this time, I think they asked the manager to watch me. And then I was fooling around and I tried to help my friend to build up the brand and the restaurant to do promotion for them. So I said, okay, half an hour, I'm going to do 3 dishes for you. And what happened is the host kept on asking me question and this and that. I only finished 1.5 dishes. And I told him, I said, look, you know what? I would originally, my intention is to show everybody how to do 3 dishes. That's my favorite dishes. But I think we have too much conversation, too many questions, and I just don't have time to finish it. So you want to learn how to do it, they have to ask me to come back. And then the manager saw that all of this, and he immediately asked me to go up there to say, hey, Chef Yan, we love what you do. I said, are you sure? I have no idea what's going on. I never wanted to be famous anyway. I said, I thought it would ask me to do for a couple of shows. It said, would like to ask you to be a host of 130 shows, a host 130 shows, which is unheard of because in the old days, on PBS, they only do 26 shows a series,
Yeah.
not 130 shows.
Yeah.
130 show would be a daily show for 6 months.
Right.
And then they repeat it once. It will be a whole year. People will watch me for a whole year.
Yeah.
So I said, are you sure? Because I really don't know how to do it. They said, no, it's good. This is casual. And they asked me, well, what kind of dishes going to do? I said, I just do things that I teach cooking classes at Davis. And also I cook for my roommate. It's all home cooked. Everybody can do it. So I said, if I can do it, everybody can do it. That's fine. They asked, so how do you want to name it? I said, well, Yan can cook. And then I add the slogan
That was it.
because I can do it, you can do it. So that's why we come up with Yan can cook, so can you.
Yeah.
It's totally incidental. I was never planned. I have no, I don't do a tape, presentation tape, nothing. Because all day,
Yeah.
nobody asks you to host. There's only broadcast, Galloping Gourmet, and Julie Child's French chef,
Mhm.
and no other cooking show in the world.
Mhm.
There's only 2 cooking shows.
Yeah.
And Yan Can Cook Show was the 3rd cooking show. So I went up a head start in 1978 to now. We have been on television for 48 years. And I had
Amazing.
no idea what's going on in the very beginning. I
Yeah.
still don't have any idea what's happening right now. I'm just kind of winging it.
Well, it's working out okay. I think you're doing okay.
No, I guess I'm in the right place at the right time because in the very beginning, first, there's very few cooking shows. Anybody want to learn how to cook or want to watch cooking, they have no choice but only watch PBS. Only one station, one network having.
Yeah.
And it's regular. It's a day. My show is daily, so they can really, really get to know you. So basically, I'm not a celebrity. I'm basically part of the family of for most people's television. Besides, when I talk, I always talk to the people on the camera.
Yeah. Well, I remember it very clearly because I was born in 1971, and so when I was a kid, maybe 10 or 11 years old, that's when you came to KQED here in San Francisco. And in those days, I mean, people my age, we know, right? There wasn't anyone on TV that looked like us. And so I could definitely count on every Saturday morning, I can turn on KQED and see you, and Julia Child and Jacques Pepin. I can see you guys cooking.
Jeff Pan is actually 20 years later.
That's right.
Because when we were doing the show, actually, I would also teach cooking classes all over the country to make a living. There's a Cooking Teachers Association. Later on, they turned that into IACP, International Association of Cooking Professional. So all the restaurateur, cookbook author, television, they're all part of Jack and me and Julia and Graham. All of them are part of these IACP. And I told Jack, I said, wow, Jack, he sometimes appear with Julia Child those days. And I said, "Wow, Jack, you're unbelievable chef, and you're very very skilled and very talented, and also you're funny. I like Julia and Graham Care." And I said, "You should be on television." So later on, I introduced Jack to my producer and KQED,
You were the
and
one.
then I said, Jack, you definitely a guarantee hit. And then as soon as he got it, he became a hit.
Oh, I didn't know that you were the one who got him on
We were
TV
the
too.
first generation. We were the first generation. That is way before the Food Network.
Yeah.
Way before. Because, as I said, in the early days, in the first 15, 20 years, cooking show is not as popular,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So towards the end, more and more people are watching cooking show. And then because of that, then you have Food Network. A friend of mine from BBC, she left BBC and came to New York and opened a Food Network.
You were right there, man. At ground zero before all of that was you and Julia.
Well, I do this because it's survival. Without that, I won't be able to buy a car and to start dating.
So you came back to California to get out of Canada and you started doing your show. what was your mission? Did you have like kind of an idea what you wanted to do with the show?
It's funny, a lot of times, just like you're listening to a song, a singer, an artist sing a song when they put in radio. When you hear the first time, you may not feel anything. But when you repeatedly listen to the same song or listen to the same person enough time, then you get to enjoy it. Or this is what why some of the songs become popular, or either all the singer or the celebrity, because they do it enough time and you see them enough time. So I figure out in the very beginning, I don't think we have too many fans in the beginning. All this age is no social media,
Yeah.
and then people can only write you for recipe. They have to write to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think both Graham Care and Julia is very, very engaging and very, very entertaining, and a wonderful personality. So I kind of inspire. I kind of inspire from them. So basically, that's how you do it.
When you were when you're coming up with ideas after, you did the studio show for several years, then you started going around the world. Did you have did you feel a responsibility to show the world that Chinese food is more than just, Southern Chinese or Hong Kong food? Did you
Oh, definitely. That's the whole idea. People always say seeing is believing. So when I travel, after about 4 or 5 years at the studio, I decided I personally love audience. I love to interact with people, and also give me the opportunity with the sponsors, the funding, allow us, because in the early days, very few cooking show, even today, very few cooking show or travel shows. It was very expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
When you travel, you have about 30, 40 people in the crew.
Mhm.
So we've been fortunate. We've been very fortunate because we build a reputation. We build an exposure in a way that a lot of the international companies like General Electric and Kikkoman and Lee Kum Kee and all of these big companies will sponsor our show.
Yeah.
The PBS, you have to have sponsors,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just like any show, you got to have sponsors. So even Food Network, they need sponsors.
Yeah.
So basically, we have the opportunity to work with a lot of these people. With the budget, with the sponsorship, allow us to travel all over, and seeing is believing. When I do in a studio, I am not able to go into somebody's house, the farm, how
Yeah.
they raise the galupa, 40 pounds galupa, eels, snakes,
Yeah.
rainforest, eat wild plant, cooked in a wild,
Yeah.
in fact, some of those things in Asia, a lot of people that because of food in America is such abundant, plentiful. But in many parts of the world, people still going to bed hungry, particularly
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
So we go to places, we see places. We went to to the 50, 60 years ago. I mean, 30, 40, 50 years old, Asia is still economically very, 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 very depressed. And only in the last 15, 20 years, all of a sudden become the Asia century.
Mhm.
I remember we went to film in Philippines about 35 years ago. We get out of the airport and we'll drive to the hotel. And along the way, we see mountains of a landfill, mountains of garbage dump, and then you see families and families of people living in cardboard box right
Uh,
next to the garbage dump.
mm.
When the garbage trucks dump unload all this stuff, the whole family would pick up the aluminum can, the bottle, and just like recycling.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how they make it. That is 90 degree,
Mm.
90-degree Fahrenheit, 85% humidity. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just like you're working in a very, very, not a very well designed kitchen, very hot and very humid. You go
Yeah.
to Vietnam, you go to Singapore on this day. A lot of these guys they don't even have a chef jacket. The sweat is pouring down.
Mm.
They're putting in their shorts to work, So a lot of people don't realize. So by having the opportunity to travel around the world, And I learned to appreciate all of these myself. At the same time, I share my experience with my audience. And now, and later on, in the last 20, 30 years, the Yang and Cook Show is broadcast in almost 55 or 60 countries, reaching a potential audience of close to 4 billion people. Because we're in India, we're in China, just
Yeah.
this alone is about 3 billion people.
Wow. Wow.
And then we were also all over Asia, Korea, Japan, New Zealand, England, Middle East,
Yeah.
armed forces, Central America, and also Australia and New Zealand, also in the U.S. Armed Force Network. So I've been very, very fortunate. That's why I've been telling everybody I'm one of the most fortunate, lucky guy because I'm happened in the right place, and the right time. Because I never intended, never planned, never imagined I would ever be on television. I'm still puzzled. I still ask myself, what happened? I don't understand. What's going on here?
Still winging it. Well, you've got some stuff in front of you there. I don't wanna make you do anything, but you wanna teach us a couple of knife skills?
What I want to say is because just like any professional, like if you're a plumber, if you're a violinist, the pianist, you have to have the right tool. The right tool for the right job. So knowledge and basic understanding and education is very important. But you also have the right. If you're a carpenter, you have to have the right tool. You have the electrician. You have to have the right tool, right? So I want to show you in a Chinese kitchen, an Asian kitchen, all you need is one knife, and I break down the chicken in 18 seconds. In fact, in the last few days, I was doing something at a job call, and also I did something with a job call in Maui as well as in Treasure Island,
Uh-huh.
and did a cooking demonstration. So I told people skill set is very important in any profession, right? So give an example. I always tell people, this knife I designed with the curve. In fact, I'll be happy to send you one if you love to cook.
Oh.
This is with the curve. This is full tank triple red, very light and very well balanced. And to do a good job, you make sure your knife is well balanced. And also, not only that, you make sure it's sharp. Now, how sharp the knife is, and you can see it. I don't know whether you can actually see it. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Gotcha.
Okay, look at it.
Oh.
Look at this. And I put it all together. Now the two pieces. And then I cut. Okay. And then now the eight slice. Look at that. Okay. And then it's so sharp that you can use this to do paper cutting. And in China, they use a scissor to do paper cutting. I use this to do paper cutting. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Look at that. This would amaze some of your audience, your student. Every single cut is clean. It is sharp. And then not only that, you can actually use this knife to do a lot of things like this. Give me an example. Look at this. And I will show you how thin you can cut it. Look at this.
So smooth.
Because you have a sharp knife. When you have a sharp knife, you have a great knife. And then I also want to show people that you can remove the seed from the bell pepper like this. Look at it. You seesaw, and then it's done.
Perfect.
You see? So basically, I'm talking about skill and the right tool. And I hope some of your students and your audience know that if you're a student, make sure you got a good education and pay attention to my good friend Curtis. And then you will make sure when you one day you become a professional, make sure you have the right tool. Just like a cameraman, just like a camera, like a videographer, you got to have the right camera, a good camera to do it. So that's why this is not about a cooking demonstration. This is about the idea of acquiring good education, which is knowledge. At the same time, you have to have the skill and the right tool to
Amazing.
excel.
Amazing. Well, you survived our hard, long questions. Are you ready for a little lightning round? You're always known for doing things fast.
Anything.
All right. What's your favorite place to grab a meal in the Bay Area when you're just looking for something to comfort?
I'll go to Stockton in Chinatown, Hong Kong, and then there's always a line on
Yeah.
Stockton, and
Yeah.
I'll pick up a big bun, and the one bun is the barbecue pork bun or the meat pork bun. One is enough for the whole meal. And also when I get thirsty, I'll go to Love Tea, to have boba tea,
Yeah.
which is fruit juice, very very healthy. So the barbecue bun and the boba tea, I'm set.
I
I
love
just
it.
did a boba a contest in city of Summertown.
Oh, you did that? All right. Besides Chinese food, what's your favorite cuisine?
I have more than one.
Sure.
As a cooking teacher, I have to keep my mind and my heart open.
Yeah.
I happen to love a noodle, a ramen, okay, and also dantan noodle. Anything about noodle or even spaghetti. The noodle is so versatile,
Yeah.
and unlike rice, noodle even you have leftover, you put it in the fridge, you take it out, you just lightly warm up, you're ready to go. But rice sometimes when you freeze them, they the texture change, like the chow fan. But
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
cannot freeze chow fan. And of course, I love Thai food.
Yeah.
The reason why I love Thai food and Vietnamese food is because the flavor explode in your palate. You got the red curry, the yellow curry, the green curry, and then you can use this curry to cook any protein with any vegetable. So I love the simplicity because you can prepare this curry ahead of time,
Yeah.
and then you can literally prepare a number of dishes. So, but I also love sushi
Yeah.
because it is very little oil and very little salt.
Yeah.
And even you use soy sauce, the soy sauce is only about 16% salt. Rather than putting salt, soy sauce give you the umami, give you the flavor profile,
Yeah.
but a lot less salt. So I encourage people, you want to flavor something, you use soy sauce.
So we talk about having a Mount Rushmore sometimes, the top four. Could you pick your top four Chinese dishes? It's almost impossible, I know.
I love clay pot
Mm,
cooking because when I was growing up,
yeah.
I always, my mother always do that. The reason is because is affordability and convenience. When you cook something in an egg pot, when you cook the rice, when the rice is almost ready, you put some Chinese sausage and a tiny bit of chicken and some vegetable, and you have a one pot meal. And then finally, just put tiny bit of soy sauce. And also the good thing about this is just like hot pot, just like fondue, just like the bibimbap in Korea. When you eat it to the last minute, it's still hot and you got a rice crust. So you have all the culinary treasure in one pot. And you only have to wash one pot. You don't have to wash dishes all over the place. So that's my all-time favorite.
All
And
time.
also remind me of all the wonderful memories from my childhood. My mother preparing all of these.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Toisan doi too, so we do clay pot and Toisan, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Toisan. Actually, I go back there at 3 or 4 times a year. One of the most famous dishes, ma gong is the goose.
Yeah.
The goose is huge, big, about up to here.
Yeah.
Very, they're vicious. I feed them and they chase after me. About 200 of them chase after me. And also one of the very famous dishes, eel in clay pot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a lot of wonderful dishes they're very famous for.
Yeah, there's a place in Chinatown on Broadway, Taishan Cafe. It's
Yeah, 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 yeah. They were there for a little for quite a while. They also have one in a Millbrae in,
okay.
in South Bay.
Okay. And then our final question is our signature question where we ask our guests, who's your infatuasian? So any Asian that you admire that could be living or deceased. So Chef Martin Yan, who is your infatuasian?
Well, the one of the on my list is definitely Cecilia Chang. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We have been friends for many, many years.
Hmm.
We met each other all the time. And
Yeah.
she's a pioneer introducing more northern style cuisine to
Yeah.
the public. And also it's a very refined, give people an image. Chinese food is not just chop suey and chow mein and egg foo young. It can be very sophisticated. And she is the first one that actually introduced that to the general public for many years.
Yeah.
And then her son later on, Philip Chang, actually founded the PF Chang.
Right. Yeah.
Now also retired and living in Japan. And also another one that I very admire very much is Amy Tan, my good friend Amy Tan.
Hmm.
The reason is because as an immigrant, we're all immigrant. We came over here, and it's a new country, but we try to introduce our history, heritage, and culture to the general public.
Hmm.
So Jollof Club is a big hit, and everybody truly understand a little bit more about the Chinese tradition. They probably know now mahjong, which a lot of people play,
Yeah.
and also I think she through the movie she talk about the family value, and the interaction with other human being, and I think they make us unbelievable impact in bringing the tradition and heritage and ancient culture, particularly Chinese
Yeah.
heritage to the world.
Yeah.
So they continue to do something like that, and also in fact I just bumped into Janet Yang.
Oh,
Janet
yeah.
Yang is the producer
Yeah.
for Jai Club.
Yeah.
So I was in an event that with her and Zhong Chen. This is the event. So this way, I feel very fortunate, and everything is kind of incidental. It's not that I plan for 5 year, 10 year plan. But that television, that's why I always tell people, be prepared and believing in yourself, and always work hard and learn as much as possible.
Yeah.
Always be curious. And
Yeah.
not only that, the most important thing is optimism. And sometimes you fall, you just get up and move on. And if people, I always joke with people, and if people, one thing you have to learn that you cannot, doesn't matter how hard you try, you cannot please everybody, all the people, all the time.
Hmm.
If you worry so much, you wouldn't be able to move. You won't be able to get out of the house. You worry too much. So
Yeah.
to me, I always tell people to make sure you try the very best. You
Yeah.
try your best. If you try your best and people are still not happy, you have to figure out what happened. And is it somebody too critical, or somebody can give you a constructive criticism, and just move on. You cannot let any of these to stop you, to slow you down.
Oh, man. Chef Yan, speaking of Mount Rushmore, I have you too, especially because we're Bay Area, right? I have Amy Tan on Mount Rushmore, and I got Chef Martin Yan on my Mount Rushmore for sure. Yeah, Asian Americans here in the Bay Area, such a great legacy you have, and you've influenced a generation or two, more than one generation of people to cook and do all kinds of things.
Yeah, we have been very fortunate, because we have such a long career. Now, since 1978, the Yankee Cook Show is definitely one of the longest continues running. I'm still doing shows.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll be going to Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam to do some new shows. And I call it Passport to Malaysia, Passport to Vietnam. And then along the way, we do a fundraising for the orphanage in Vietnam. So I think the idea is when you are lucky enough that you got to give back, and that's the reason why I've been doing a lot of presentation in culinary schools in the CIA and Johnson and Well,
Yeah.
Lakota Brewer, and the Job Corps and all of those. Not because I want to be famous. I never cared to be famous. I will never be as famous as Ming Tsai or Amy Tang and or or Cecilia Chang. But I'm working on it.
Yeah. Still working. I love it. And well, besides, so you got a couple things going on. I think you got your books next to you. The last one was
Yeah. Okay. This actually, yeah, this is my 36 cookbook. Okay, this one here.
yeah, amazing.
See, 36 cookbook.
Best of.
And if you look at that, I was fortunate enough. A couple years ago, I won the James Beard Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
Then I actually, this book is actually all the student, everybody interested should have this. You also should have a copy of this. It depicts from my childhood to the time I received the James Beard Award. And then
Yeah.
not only that, I show people when we do the show, we travel all over the world,
Yeah.
all over the world. Okay, all over the world to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I also show in the early days it's just Julie Child, Graham Kerr, and Yan Can Cook, and then later on, look at it, all the celebrity chefs. I have the great pleasure of working with Jacques, Gordon Ramsay, Alice Water, Jackie Chan, Emerald, Rick Bayless, Aramoto, Anthony Bourdain.
Mm.
So I consider myself extremely honored, privileged, and lucky that I have the opportunity some other people may not have. So that's the reason why I still work.
Chef Martin Yan, this has been an absolute pleasure. I've learned so much. I've been smiling this whole time. We've been on this call for like 45 minutes and I haven't stopped smiling. Just listening to you talk and tell stories. It's been such a delight. Thank you so much for coming on with me.
Well, my pleasure. And hopefully we'll get lunch. We're going to get a chance to have dim sum and lunch. Dim sum and some more.
For sure. Yeah, anytime.
Good luck. Thank you so much.
Could I ask one more favor? The one last favor?
Yeah.
Could you help me do a promo at the end?
Yeah. Okay. Ready?
Ready?
Hi, this is Chef Martin Yan of Yan Can Cook. I've been seeing you, talking to you, and sharing my passion of good food with you for 48 years. And I want to tell you that one of my favorite shows, which is Infatuasian podcast with my good friend Curtis. And don't miss him. He is the best. He give you knowledge, inspiration, and encouragement. And I was encouraged. I was inspired by Curtis. Infatuation podcast by Curtis, my dear friend.
Oh, you made my year. Thank you, Chef Martin.
So send me your address. I'll send you a knife and a book.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chef. This has been great.
No problem. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah.
And good luck with your career and good luck with your podcast.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.